Hi, how are you all doing today? Thank you for joining in. My name is Dr. Jolene Fernandez and I'm here to tell you how you can uplift your health by eating healthy and staying fit while you live abroad and away from home. Well, it's simple and easy and I will be telling you how we can do it. But before that, let's understand how the change in our food affects our body weight, your hair, skin, hormones, and even our moods. While traveling away from home for studies or for work, leaving the comfort of your home, you move to an entirely different country which has its own food habits, its own lifestyle, time zones, different environmental conditions, and to add to that, you stay so busy with your work schedule, traveling to work, finding accommodation, it gets really chaotic that cooking and eating healthy food must be the last thing on your mind. You are now entirely responsible for yourself, unlike in India, where a lot of people are there to support you on a day-to-day basis, from cooking and planning your meals. Well, keeping yourself nourished, especially when you're in a foreign country, is very essential. That is going to give you a great output, prevent your waistline from expanding, save you from digestive issues, save you from diseases such as diabetes, heart problems, hormonal imbalance like PCOD, and various other conditions. Most of the people living in the UK who have consulted me have got issues such as bloatedness, gas, hyperacidity levels, unnecessary weight gain, acne, hormonal imbalance, deficiency of vitamin D and B12, migraine headaches, hair fall, fatigue, and tiredness. Well, all this happens because you get so busy with work and studies, you made the choice of moving abroad for a better work career or for better work opportunities. Well, eating your mother's home cooked food and now making your own food choices makes a lot of difference. Most of you end up picking up a lot of fast food, instant food like noodles. You start eating drinking excess of coffee, energy drinks. You replace your whole meals with just biscuits and energy drinks. Your dal, sabji, rice is now replaced with burgers, fries, and chips. When you have realized that the weight has gone up, you try following all the latest diet trends. Low carb diet, high protein diet, fasting, and you want all quick fixes. Now, since you were eating home, cooked food at home here in India, suddenly when you start eating processed food, that is packaged food off the shelf, frozen food, you start to develop a lot of health issues. And there will be noticeable changes on your waistline. Your face appears swollen, you look bigger than what you look back in India. Also, water is replaced or substituted with tonic water, packaged fruit juices, fizzy drinks, hashtag low calorie energy drinks, sugar-free drinks, and all such unnecessary food. Now let's actually understand what happens to you. Well, your gut bacteria is what gets affected when you move to a new country. When you move from a country like India, you go to a much cleaner, greener, colder, sanitized, hygienic country. You definitely start seeing changes, and the major change that happens is in your gut bacteria, because now you have moved to a much sanitized country which has lesser good bacteria. And you won't believe it, this all leads to the unexplained weight gain. In the first year itself, you may gain about 4 to 5 kgs. Over a period of time, the whole body shape begins to change. You look much bigger around your waistline, the chest and face looks puffed up. All this is because of the gut bacteria changes. Of course, you are now entirely responsible for yourself. Unlike when you were in India, there was such a lot of people to take care of you, plan your meals, cook your meals, and therefore you start developing insulin resistance, raised blood sugar levels, increased weight, thyroid issues like hypothyroidism, and other hormonal imbalances such as PCOD. So what do we have to do to get that good bacteria back into our gut and also to keep our health back on track? Two things to keep in mind: develop sensible food habits and sensible lifestyle choices. Eating a balanced meal with grains, vegetables, fruits, spices, fats such as ghee, and not counting calories or not looking at food as just carbs, proteins, and fats. Well, that's the way that you will be able to stay healthy. Well, easier said than done. That is what most of you would say. Let's talk about the most common issues faced by Indians living abroad. One, how to plan quick and healthy tiffins. This is one of the most common question I get. How to make easy breakfast, foods that will not trigger acidity and bloating, late night food or snack choices, foods that help hormonal balance and healthy weight loss. So here it is. Tip number one. Never ever forget to have a glass of plain room temperature water along with a fruit first thing in the morning. Any fruit would do. It could be a banana, it could be a papaya, it could be berries, or you could even have a few dry fruits and dry nuts. All you have to do is just soak them overnight, and that would give you even better results. Have it as soon as you wake up in the morning. This is especially for those who have constant migraine headaches and hyperacidity issues. You need to do this every single day. Tip number two, have a breakfast before you leave your home. Nothing elaborate. It may not have to be an upma or a poha or a dosa or chapati. You can have a glass of milk, full fat milk, not low fat. You can always source it from a local farmer. You can opt for cow milk or goat milk. It would be great. But any regular milk that is available is also good enough. Along with an egg, any kind of a preparation of egg, along with a few fruits such as berries, melons, banana, works perfectly. You could also go in for a ragi porridge, that is nachni porridge. That would also work perfectly. Next, you've got poha, that is flat rice. Instead of oats, you can choose poha, which has much more healthy fiber and a low glycemic index. It keeps you fuller for a very long time. Egg is one of the best choices. You can make a sandwich, you can do a cheese sandwich, you can do a veg sandwich. There is variety of cheese that is available. Just make sure that you don't go in for the packaged or the processed cheese, but opt for the local cheese. You can have an omelette and bread, just avoid the processed cream and sauces. I'm sure most of you have this question in mind. What about muesli? What about cornflakes, breakfast cereal and oats? Well, they say healthy, low cal, high fiber, zero sugar on the packet. If you look closely, when you turn the packet and read the ingredients, there are a lot of hidden sugars, chemical substitutes to sugar, fat and fiber in these so-called healthy breakfasts, such as muesli, cornflakes and all of the others. So, no rolled oats, no overnight soaked oats, no steel cut oats. Especially if it says healthy on the packet, you definitely need to avoid it. The best breakfast cereal that you can have is the flat rice or the poha or also the broken wheat, and these are all easily available at any of the stores. You could also check out the various Indian stores or Bangladeshi stores that are available, and these are all your quick options for a good breakfast. The next very good option for healthy breakfast is also yogurt. You could flavor it with honey, you could put in some fruits, dry fruits and make an amazing breakfast with yogurt. Also do milkshakes and smoothies. Well, now the next meal. The next meal is lunch, and most often I know people who leave for work at around 12:30 or some return from a night shift at 12 o'clock, and it's really very difficult to have a good lunch or even prepare lunch. Sometimes there is no fixed lunch break. You have to grab something when you're working. So you're standing and eating, and you really cannot have dal, rice, chapati, sabji. And some of you directly have a break at around 6 o'clock in the evening. With such a lot of difficulties, for those who do not have a lunch break or have a late lunch at 6 in the evening, the best possible options are sandwiches. It would be the best and the most healthiest option. So you could do an egg sandwich, you could do a veg sandwich, you could do a cheese sandwich, a chicken sandwich, minus the cream-based dressings and processed meats, which I know are easily available. Alright, so try not to go in for any soups or salads because they are easy and quick to grab, but make a sandwich. It will be more wholesome. This will not leave you hungry later, and it will not increase your sugar cravings or your cravings to eat something junk. For those who cannot manage to get even a sandwich, the best would be a fruit milkshake or trail mixes of nuts and dry fruits. Just make sure that these are not coated with sugar, chocolate or extra salt. Stay away from energy drinks. They do not give you any nutrition. maybe some instant energy, but they will always leave you feeling very drained, dehydrated, and with an increased level of sugar cravings. So please do not have any energy drinks, especially the ones which say sugar free or zero sugar. You can make your own trail mixes at home. These trail mixes are basically the modern name for our homemade chudas and chivdas or farsans or namkeens with such a lot of seeds and nuts and dry fruits and such a lot of spices. These can be made at home. All the ingredients are easily available. If you want to know more about these trail mixes, you can definitely visit my website. There are a few recipes for these trail mixes available there. So you can use puffed rice, you can use poha, you can use makhana, you can use peanuts, all of these in your trail mixes. The next very good option at around 6 to have is chicky. So it's the hashtag healthy homemade protein bars, which are also available. So you could use peanuts, sesame seeds, puffed rice, various other seeds and nuts and dry fruits. Just make sure you do not add any chocolate or sugar-free substitutes or alternatives to jaggery. The next very good option is homemade laddus. Of course, when you live abroad and you miss your homemade Indian sweets, you can definitely go in for a laddu. You can make a rajgira laddu, a wheat laddu, even a ragi laddu. Alright, so these are your very good options. Another option could be your fresh cheese. It's so easily available. So avoid eating the processed packaged cheese and go in for the fresh cheese that's available. Or just jaggery and coconut with a little bit of sesame seeds, a little bit of cardamom rolled in a nice rice pancake or a wheat pancake instead of a chapati can be one of the best options for lunch. If you're privileged to have a good lunch at home, then always include grains, that is rice or wheat in some form. Then some pulses and beans, a tablespoon of dahi and curd with either egg or fish. And if you're a vegetarian, then you can stick to eating your pulses and your dals. Try to have lesser meats and do not forget to add some ghee to your lunch. Stop eating just soups and salads. Alright, the next is your dinner preps. Dinner definitely has to have a little bit of pulses, lentils, beans. You can make a rice khichdi, which is the lentil risotto as we say, minus the cheese. It's a mix of vegetables, rice and lentils, and it is one of the easiest things to make. So what you can do is before leaving for work, you could always soak a little bit of dal and rice. Then when you return home, just add a few spices, cook it, and it's ready to eat. You can add a dollop of ghee on the top and have an egg or a fish or even a piece of meat along with it. If you're bored eating a lot of lentils, then you can go in for beans such as rajma, chickpeas, soya beans. You could always sprout them, steam them and have them along with your rice. Another quick option is dahi rice or curd rice. You just have to mix your rice, curd and add a little bit of tadka and you can just eat it. It just tastes so yummy and it is so wholesome. You always cook the rice and lentils at home and you can always store them in the fridge. It's a hassle-free, quickest prep for breakfast that you can do. Even making dosa batter is another option. You can make your dosa batter and keep it in the refrigerator, and this can be used not just to make your dosas but also the uttapas and the idlis. Well, chutneys are another very good source of good nutrition to you. Chutneys are nothing but hashtag healthy dips. So your mint chutney, sesame chutney, peanut chutneys are what you have to include in your diet. You could also make pulaus made of vegetable, paneer. You can do lemon rice. You could do jeera rice. All right. So these are very good dinner options. I would always tell my UK clients or my clients living abroad to end their day with a glass of hot haldi milk. All right. So these are a few tips from me of what you can eat for your breakfast, lunch and dinner. Well, to sum up today's talk, I'll be talking about 4 healthy habits that will help you lose weight when you live abroad. The number 1 on the list is do not leave your home without a breakfast. Well, we all have heard of the ancient adage which says breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, yes, it still continues to be the most important meal of the day. The next, no excess tea and coffee. Well, just like coffee, tea has got tannins in them, and these tannins interfere with the absorption of nutrition from your gut. Alright, so the best time to have tea would be a cup of tea or coffee along with your breakfast, or even in the evening at around 4 o'clock you can have a cup of coffee. Do not start your day with a cup of coffee or tea, and do not end your day post dinner with a cup of coffee and tea. Try not to have more than 2 or 3 cups of tea and coffee every day. The third very important factor for you to stay healthy while living abroad is exercise. Exercise is a non-negotiable aspect of life. There is no substitute to exercise. So try and get at least 150 minutes of exercise every week. That is about an hour every alternate day, or about 30 minutes every day. Now, when I say exercise, it does not mean just walking. Walking does not qualify as an exercise. When I say exercise, I mean strength training, I mean yoga, and also a little bit of cardio in the form of jogging, running, jumping jacks, and also skipping. Well, I know abroad you've got beautiful pathways where you can always utilize to walk, or even to run or stay active. So make the best use of these pathways there. And the fourth important point that everyone who lives abroad needs to understand is staying away from processed packaged food, especially if it says it's healthy. I know your supermarkets have aisles of healthy food packets, or you have aisles which sell only healthy foods. Well, try and understand that these healthy foods have got hidden sugars, a lot of trans fats, hidden substitutes for chemicals which have replaced the fat or the fiber in the food. So that is one of the most important parts of eating or living a healthy life. Well, now it's time to take a few questions. The first question that I can read here is, I leave home at 6:30 a.m. for work. I don't feel like eating something that early. I usually have a snack at 10:30, 11. Is that okay? Yes, it's absolutely fine to have a snack at 10:30, 11. But I would recommend at least having a fruit in the morning when you're leaving home. Do not start your day with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, but you can have a glass of water, plain room temperature water, and you can definitely eat a fruit. I don't think that would really fill you up, but it can keep you going till about 10:30, 11. See to it that your snack at 10:30, 11 is a healthy snack. It could be a sandwich, it could be nuts, it could be a smoothie or a milkshake. Don't have a burger or chips or some fries. So it's perfectly okay to have a snack, but do not leave your home on an empty stomach. It does not really have to be a very big, elaborate, heavy breakfast, but a plain glass of water and a fruit would do. The next question here is from Riza. I have been following your feed. Thank you, Riza. I have a question. Consuming rice makes me feel heavy on a working day. It is also difficult to consume it during lunchtime in front of my colleagues. I have rice only on Saturday, Sunday. Is that okay? Well, it's perfectly okay if you're not comfortable carrying rice to work. And it's fine if you have rice on a Saturday and Sunday. It's absolutely fine to consume rice as your grain, the main grain in your lunch. So if you want options to carry your tiffin or your lunch on the other days, you could always carry a sandwich. You could have you could have a chapati, you could have a wrap with some healthy stuffing in it. You could have cheese, you could use vegetables, a chutney, or even chicken. The third question is, can I cook in advance and keep in the fridge? Does keeping in the fridge affect the nutritional value? Well, for people in the UK, this is something that I highly recommend. You can always pre-cook your meals and keep them in the fridge. Now, when it comes to preparing a khichdi or a dal, you can always cook your dal, cook the khichdi and keep it in the fridge. The minute you're home, you can take it out, put it on the pan, and you could add a tadka to it. You could add some mustard, a little bit of cumin. If you have, if you have curry leaves, you could add a tadka to it, and that is perfectly okay. Similarly, even with your meats, with your fish, you could always marinate the fish. You could marinate your meats and keep them in the fridge. As soon as you are back, you can just put it on your pan and you can cook it with a little bit of oil. That is completely okay. As far as the nutritional value is concerned, it does affect the food. But if you pre-cook the meals, like slightly, if you could just, roast your onion or your tomatoes with a little bit of spices and keep it in the fridge, it does not really affect the nutritional value as much. But if you chop your fruits, you chop your vegetables and store them for a very long time in the fridge, that is going to affect the nutritional value. So if you're chopping your vegetables or, chopping your fruits, then you might as well do it right before you cook it or right before you consume it. Do not chop your vegetables and fruits and store them in the fridge. But you can definitely cook your meals and store them in the fridge. The next question is, will having probiotics or prebiotics help with improving gut bacteria here? Well, yes, definitely consuming a probiotic or a prebiotic would definitely help improving your gut bacteria. If you're talking about supplements, yes, you can definitely take a supplement. But why take a supplement when you can include your, natural foods which are rich in probiotics and prebiotics and have the best functioning gut? Well, the most common probiotics that are easily sourceable or easily available to us are dahi or curd. So include at least 2 tablespoons of your curd in your diet every day. If you're a lover of pickles and achars, then you can always have 1 or 2 pieces of homemade achar. If it's not available, then dahi would do. The third most important probiotic that we have or we could include in our diet is rice. Yes, cooked rice is very, very rich in probiotics. Even you could, ferment your rice. There are a lot of people, this is a Chinese method of having or including probiotics. You could always cook your rice the previous day, soak it in a little bit of water and keep it overnight. That water that accumulates along with the rice, the fermented rice, is very, very rich in probiotics. So you can drink, and you don't really need to have a full glass of that fermented rice water. You could just have about 3 or 4 sips, and that would be sufficient to complete your probiotic requirement. And the fourth very important probiotic that you can include is sprouts. So you could sprout all the possible beans and pulses that are available to you. Some of the best sprouts are the green moong. You could also include kulit or horse gram dal. This is one dal which is very, very good, not just for your gut, but also to lose weight and also to improve your lean muscle mass, because it's very, very rich in amino acids. So kulit or horse gram dal sprouts are something that I would highly recommend if you want to improve your probiotics. I think 4 of these probiotics on a daily basis, or even once a week, if you consume them with your diet, you're going to have a complete probiotic supply. That's all from me today. Well, thank you so much for joining in. I'm coming up with a 21 days Fit and Fab challenge. It's a program which is completely done online. It would include 21 meal plans, 21 exercise routines, and a daily follow-up with me. Well, who could join this program? Anybody who's trying to get fit, trying to lose weight, somebody with hormonal imbalance such as hypothyroidism or PCOD, infertility, diabetes, and various other conditions. To know more about the program, do visit my website, and bye-bye.